here are 6 simple habits or changes that I made in my life that have unfortunately worked really, really well for me. The first habit I want to say is about eating. It has to do with diet. If you have disordered thinking around eating, I'm gonna have the timestamps down below. I used to think that mindful eating and intuitive eating was a scam until I read a few books that kind of just repackaged mindful eating, and all of a sudden I realized that I was one of the most mindless eaters and it was affecting my day-to-day life significantly. So I started to really practice this stuff. I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen to my hunger cues. I'm gonna listen to my fullness cues. I'm going to savor my food and enjoy every single bit of food that I eat. And suddenly things started to change for me when it came to food and my relationship with eating. It didn't take long until there were certain foods that I used to think were like the best of treats that I just started to like less. Like McDonald's chips, I used to be like, yes, that is the ultimate little treat to have at the end of the day. Get a little chippies. And then I paid attention to how they actually tasted and I was like, oh, these just are not as good as I once thought. Because I was such a mindless eater, I was never really paying much attention. And I actually did lose a bit of weight, not because I was restricting in any way. If anything, I was not restricting at all, just because I was such a mindless eater before. It's not that I was eating like excessively at all. It's just like a bit over my fullness cues to the point where I didn't feel so good. Now, I'm saying all of this, but I want to be clear, I still eat mindlessly. Like I still had times where I'm like, damn, like that was just like not a mindful eating experience at all. I also have a sweet tooth, but my thing is that I'm always going back to mindful eating, and it's the only thing that has ever felt like healthy, right, and good when it comes to eating. I've dabbled with like little diets here and there because I've been like, oh, like I should, you know, be healthy or whatever. And it's never ended up feeling very good. It's ended up feeling a bit restrictive. Whereas mindful eating and intuitive eating feels aligned with the way that I want to live. However, obviously the reason that I was so weird about mindful eating and intuitive eating was because it's so vague. Like, what does that actually mean? So here are 3 individual, like very actionable habits that you can practice day to day. These are the habits that I would recommend. Number 1, eat literally whatever you want, but savor every single bite that you eat. Like really pay attention to how it feels, how it tastes, how it's making your body feel, and really pay attention, like without judgment, if you do eat a little too much, or if maybe you're not even eating enough, depending on where you're at. I really think that some people do this quite naturally. Like some people that you meet, and we've all met them, those are the people that like really like fruit and hate chocolate. These are people who are just such mindful eaters that they are always really aware of how everything tastes and they're always savoring. They do this quite naturally. Whereas there are other people like me and maybe like you who need to do this in a really intentional, like effortful way. Number 2, actually pay attention to your fullness cues, like really get to know them and eventually get to the point where you respect them. So the cues that your body gives you to say, hey, like we're at a comfortable level of full, no need to eat anymore. At first, you absolutely will eat over your hunger cues if you are, or fullness cues rather, if you're someone like me, but eventually you'll get to the point where you'll learn to work with them. Number 3, if you have ADHD or you are just someone who, when you are bored, you seek out food. You're like, I need stimulation. I need something to entertain my brain. I'm gonna go to food. Try imagining what it would feel like to eat food before you eat it. This sounds really strange, and it kind of only works once you've done the mindful eating thing for a little while. Whenever I do this, it almost annoys me because I'll do it and then I'll be like, oh damn, like I actually don't feel like that at all. Number 2, so for the last 2 to 3 years, I've been consistently working out 2 to 3 times a week. And the only reason that that has happened is because I sought out accountability. Unfortunately, getting accountability for the areas of your life where you're like, oh, like I just struggle a bit to be consistent can really, really work. And the only reason that I've been able to make this happen is through the service Train Well. I would say for my health, getting accountability remains one of the best decisions that I've made. I actually signed up to Train Well before they contacted me to sponsor me. I was just so excited about the service and I was like, this is something that I need. My biggest problem pre-Train Well was that something would always happen. I'd be working out consistently and then I'd get sick, or then I'd get an injury, or my workout buddy would disappear. And then I just kind of drop it for a few months. I had a lot of trouble with bouncing back from slumpy times. Whereas with Train Well, for the past month, I've had like injuries, I've been sick, like it's just been a bit of a weird month. And as soon as I felt like, yep, no, I'm ready to work out again, I've just gotten back to it because I have this workout routine in place. I have my trainer who's always sort of gently nudging me in the background and just making sure that I get back on track. They're also designing workouts for me that are aligned with whatever I'm going through. My trainer is the lovely, wonderful Andrew. He's fantastic.
Hello.
but you can do this little quiz when you sign up to Train Well, and it asks you for all of your preferences in a trainer. So you might want tough love, or you might want, you know, gentle guidance. But if you end up with a trainer that you're like, oh, I don't know if the vibes are right, like that we're not really aligned, you can change trainers anytime. Once you get assigned to a trainer, you can book in with them for a video call and you can talk through all of your goals. I also love the flexibility of it all. I can do my trainer workouts whenever I want. I can do them at night, in the morning. It's on call. Take the quiz below to find your perfect trainer and get 14 days for free of training. Number 3, feeling your feelings. I can still remember listening to this podcast. It was a Tim Ferriss show podcast, and this guy was being interviewed. He was talking about how his slumps, his low moods would last max 3-4 hours. And I remember hearing that and being like, I love that. Like, imagine if, you know, your lows, your difficult feelings would only last for such a short period of time. And I remember Tim Ferriss as the host was shocked. Now, I feel like I relate much more to the guy. This is one of those domino habits that I promise you, if you work on it consistently for a year, your life will glow up in every single way. But I also think it's very easy to get feeling your feelings wrong. And I know that because I got it wrong. When I first started to hear about the idea of you need to feel your feelings, there was like this wave of articles on the internet all about feeling your feelings. And I was like, okay, I'm getting to work. I'm gonna feel every single feeling that arises. I took it very seriously. I was leaning into every feeling that came up. I was labeling my feelings. I was absolutely treating my feelings as messengers. However, after a while, I realized I was feeling less emotionally regulated. I did think for a moment, okay, this is a purge effect. Water runs dirty before it runs clear. But when I finally figured out what emotional regulation was actually supposed to look like, unfortunately, it did make a huge difference. It was a lot of effort and it made a huge difference. If you're listening to this and you're like, okay, but what is emotional regulation? How do we do it? Here are some very actionable things that you can start doing just day to day to up your emotional regulation skills that aren't just me saying, you know, feel your feelings, lean into your feelings and label them. Number 1, get really good at being in reality first. Get really good at being present first. You need to learn to ground yourself in reality before you start doing any work on feeling your feelings or even becoming more attentive to your feelings. You know that like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method of like 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear. Get really good at that. Be doing it like multiple times a day. Just get really good at being in the present and being almost out of your body first before you start getting into your body and actually feeling things. If you can't ground yourself in reality, feelings will sweep you up and you will become your feelings rather than just witnessing and letting yourself experience your feelings. Number 2, start to notice how you react to different feelings. So your feelings are a non-issue. You don't even really need to pay that much attention to your feelings. They just are. What is more interesting is how you respond when feelings arise. So like, how are you reacting when anger comes up? Are you judging anger? Are you avoiding anger? Are you flinching at anger? Same goes with sadness, same goes with frustration. You know, when you can start to understand how you respond to your feelings, that's when you can start to realize, oh, like this is why some emotions just feel so much harder than others. It's because of my reaction. It's not because of the feeling. I always say, in the same way that a kid is going to act differently based on how you react to them, your emotions are going to react differently based on how you react to them. I still get my sads, I still get my slumps, it all happens. I still get all of the emotions and I still have strong emotions even. It's just that I respond to them better and those emotions tend to drag a lot less. The next change is one that it has taken me years to get really strict with. It just took me a really long time to really take it on board and be like, yes, I am strict with the way that I approach that. I'm methodical about it. And that is this: putting a hard limit on the number of projects that I take on and taking a one at a time approach to my projects. And by projects, I mean things like fixing the hinge on that cupboard that's breaking, or finally taking those pants to the menders to get them hemmed. Little annoying things that sometimes take up a whole weekend, sometimes take up half a day, that feel effortful and aren't just like quick fixes. I follow a 3-step routine that has made these things so much easier. Step number 1, list all of your problems, because problems are projects. Number 2, rate all those projects by impact. So how much is it going to impact you if you get that done day to day? How much is it going to make your life better? Number 3, sort them by priority. So literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a lot harder if you don't have a system for prioritizing. I have a whole video below where I go a lot more into detail on how I prioritize you. Basically, don't start project 2 until you're done project 1, one at a time. And this sounds very obvious. Of course, that is the way that you should approach projects, but it's something that that I struggled with for a while. I used to kind of try and have a list of all my projects to get done. I wouldn't really prioritize because I didn't really know how to prioritize. And then I struggled with kind of a subtle overwhelm that I didn't even know was there that would just stop me from starting because I would have this sense of, oh, there's so much to do, where am I supposed to start? But when I am methodical about prioritizing, having a priority 1, priority 2, priority 3, even though those priorities are fake, you know, you apply them to your projects. Priorities are not real, but having them in my mind, crisp and clear as to where I should start, has made my life so much easier. Number 5 is along a similar vein. It's about getting more of the smaller, littler life admin, you know, day-to-day things done. So things like, you know, filling out that form or paying that bill or getting back to that email, things that you have to do day-to-day that aren't going to take up a whole weekend of your time. There is one change that I've made that has made getting those little things done a lot easier, and it's one that unfortunately does really work when applied in the right circumstances. And that is temptation bundling, which is a term coined by Professor Catherine Milkman. Temptation bundling is when you take a really good TV show, podcast, you know, form of media, and you pair it with something that you know you have to do. I think the reason that I'm so wary about it is I just don't want to train myself to need to consume something just to get things done. However, every day I have little daily admin tasks to do, and to make it easier for myself to do that, I exclusively watch Schitt's Creek while I do my daily admin. So it gets me going, but generally with admin, once I've done one task, I kind of get on a roll. Like, I keep on going. Having it get me over the hump, but not necessarily meant to keep going, feels like a good alignment to me. And the other thing that makes it work is that I am very exclusive with it. I only will watch that TV show while I am doing my admin, which pairs really nicely with the next change that I've made that has been surprisingly life-changing in ways that I did not expect, which is making an executive decision in January to do a low media year. So this year I kind of opted out of TV shows unless I have some exceptions. I've been building exceptions as the year goes by, but my exceptions are, number 1, they are wholesome. Like The Quilters, so good. Highly recommend if you want a wholesome TV show. That's just like good for the heart, good for the soul. Number 2, they are slow paced. BBC's Pride and Prejudice. Like, I'm not gonna restrict myself from that. Or number 3, I'm watching with someone else. Like, it's a community building, you know, connection activity. Like this weekend, I'm gonna do Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, but my friend's coming over. We're gonna make strawberry chocolate situation. Like, it's gonna be a good time. It's not gonna be me sitting alone at home binging a TV show. It's just that I don't feel good doing it. Like, it doesn't feel nice. It doesn't feel like a good experience for me, which is why I wanted less of it, hence low media year. And the side effects of this have been so surprising because not only have I done, you know, low TV show, but also I've done low scrolling. All of a sudden, my go-to social media app is now Pinterest. And over months, I'm just watching my brain develop different interests because of Pinterest and just because it has space to breathe. I feel like, you know, before I used to have this real mindset of I need hobbies and I need to actively develop those hobbies. Like, I will tonight sit down and do my hobby. And as I've given my brain some space to breathe, I've realized that hobbies and like interests, they're not something that you can like force yourself into. A hobby is something that your brain naturally finds an interest in and then you do in a relatively natural way and you find it so enjoyable that you keep on doing it. But I also think it's really hard for your brain to find hobbies or your brain to develop interests that aren't scrolling on your little phone if you're always scrolling on your phone or watching TV. All of a sudden, I'm very into Christmas crafts in June. I'm very into really cute present wrapping, which was not an interest before. I feel like my taste in media has even changed just from making this change. And I don't know, maybe I would have developed those interests, but I don't think I would have. They came at times when I actually gave my brain space to breathe. If you haven't already, click the link down in the description below to get 14 days free of training, do the quiz to get assigned to your perfect trainer. I appreciate you so much. If you want more videos like this, also, I have a whole playlist. If you're in the mood to get a little inspired to make your own kind of changes or make different decisions in your own life about ways to live, ways to approach your days, I have a whole playlist that you can watch. It's on the screen. I appreciate you so much and I'll see you soon.